Let me show you something called PDF presentation, which you can find in the Adobe Bridge. What the PDF presentation is a self-playing file that you can send to a client so they can sit back and watch your images as they go by. You can add different transitions to them so that when one image goes away and another comes in, there's some kind of special effect that happens between those two. And it's really a great way to give a presentation of slides or anything that you want to possibly sell to a client. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Mothership folder, which you'll find in the Work Files folder, which is inside the Images folder. And as you see, I have a couple of images here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select them all by simply dragging select like this. Then I'm going to go to my Essentials button here and I'm going to choose Output. If you look over here in the preview, we see that the images that we've selected are in this window. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to then click on PDF in the output generator, and then I can choose a template. So I can say maximum size or whatever I want from this list, and I'll give it a second to go ahead and do its thing. I can also refresh a preview whenever I change anything in here. And what I can do as well is I can change the presentation itself. Before we get down there, let me show you that we can also change the paper size by going to the document section. So I'm going to choose US paper and I'll choose letter. I can also change how this works, so I can change the width and the height. So I'll make my width 10 and I'll make my height, let's see here, 8. Automatically the preset changes to custom because we changed what was in the list. We can also change it to landscape or portrait. You can always refresh the preview if you need to, and it will generate the PDF. As you can see, we have a preview as to what it's going to look like once we're done, but we're not finished yet. We also have some other options available. If you want to protect this with a password, you can choose to enable this so that this document can only be opened if someone knows the secret password. You can also change the layout. So you can choose how many columns and rows you'd like. And in this case, because I chose maximum, I want one picture at a time. Although you can choose to change this so you can show as many images as you'd like. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. I can also have overlays show the file name and the extension. I can change the font and the color of that font as well. Now here's the fun part, the playback. I want this to open in full screen mode, and I want the images to advance every 5 seconds, although I can change this to whatever number I'd like. This is going to be something that's really cool, especially if you time yourself speaking over your slides. So if you're selling products, you might want to actually get a stopwatch out and talk about your product. So you could say, well, in this slide, as you can see, we have this trailer that we like to sell and blah, blah, blah. And if it's 10 seconds long, then add 10 seconds. And we can also make it loop after the last page. If you want to add a transition, you go to this drop down. I'm going to choose blinds. And I'm going to choose horizontal. And I'm going to slow it down to a medium speed for the effect. I don't want it to go too fast. If I want to have any watermark, I can put watermark text here. And last but not least, when I'm ready to go, I can view this PDF after save, which will open it for me, and then I can click save. So let's go ahead and hit save and let it roll. On my desktop, I think I'll name this, let's see, well, I'll call it test. Something I use quite a bit when I'm testing things out. So I hit test, save, and hopefully, if all works, the Acrobat Reader from Adobe, which is free, will open. And it looks like it is indeed launching. It's going to ask you sometimes, by the way, whether or not you really want this to be in full screen mode. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to sit back and I'm not going to touch anything. And every 5 seconds, this image should change. All right, it works. Notice the blinds transition. And that is how you can create a PDF presentation that you can send to clients, and you can use this to show your artwork or to sell product.